Big thanks to MiniTool for sponsoring this video. So today I want to show you guys a really cool editing software called MiniTool MovieMaker and basically run you guys through the whole process from start to finish. Let's get straight into it. First, we're gonna download the software itself. The download link will be in the description below, by the way. Once the file is downloaded, open it and go through the installation process. After that, you'll be automatically taken to this official webpage where you're gonna see all the different plans and the subscriptions for the software. For now though, we're gonna use the free edition. Let's open the application and see how we can edit our videos. I'm gonna start a new project and add the footage that I wanna edit. Let's bring it down to the editing timeline. The buttons on the top right of the timeline allow you to zoom in and zoom out, but if you want to make things more simple, just click this button right here and it'll fit the whole timeline to your project. Next, let's take a look at the tab on the top right. This tab will change based on what you have selected, but right now it is called Video Property since we're editing a video footage. In the basic section of this tab, you'll find ways to rotate your video, flip it around, or even change the scale to your heart's content. If the footage you recorded is a bit too dark or too bright, you'll be able to adjust it from the color section right here. Then we have the speed section. This one speaks for itself. You can adjust the speed of the video from here. And of course, the audio. You'll be able to adjust the volume, the fade in and the fade out of the audio from here. Speaking of which, if you wanna add some music to your video, take a look at the audio tab on the left. Now, of course you can always add your own music as well, but the software already has hundreds of tracks ready for you to use. So we're gonna pick one from here and simply add it to the timeline. If you take a look at the tab on the right, you'll notice that it has now transformed from video property to music property. That is because we have an audio track selected on the timeline. As such, the options we're seeing right now allow you to control just the audio itself, similar to what we had in the audio section of the video property tab before. If you wanna trim or cut your tracks at any point, simply select the spot you wanna cut and click the scissors icon like this. By the way, in case you wanna add some extra empty tracks to your timeline, you can do so by clicking these buttons right here. The plus icon will let you add them and the -1 will remove them for you. But what if we wanna add some text to the video? Similar to what we saw in the audio section, the software offers hundreds of ways to display text on your video. Whether it's a plain text or credits for the end screen, MiniTool MovieMaker has no shortage for any of that whatsoever. I'm gonna add some text to my video to demonstrate what it could look like. Let's name it Laptop Repair since we are repairing a laptop here. I'm also gonna lower the opacity, trim it, and increase the size of the text to 72. And in case you wanna add an end screen instead, you can pick any of the ones from here. I like the way this one looks, for example, so I'm gonna add it to the timeline and show you just how much you can do with it and how easy it all is. Once you have it selected on the timeline, take a look at the player tab right here. And this is something that I really liked about this software. You can edit each text separately without disturbing the animation itself, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna make this look like an outro, but you can obviously do whatever you want with it. And while we're at it, let me trim this track down a bit and give it a fade out in the end. You can move the scissors icon up and down, by the way, just in case it's in your way or something. Next we have the Transitions tab. Here you can pick whichever transition you want, whether it's a simple fade or a loaded one with a bunch of effects. There's definitely a lot of choices here, so feel free to take your time and pick the one that you like the most. Now let's move to the effects. In this section, you're gonna find a bunch of ways to decorate your video, starting with a simple color change and ending with a full-on screen effect. We'll definitely gonna add some of this in the end, but for now, let's just explore what else this software has to offer. The filters. Unlike the effects, filters only allow you to adjust the color and the theme of the video. For example, if the footage you recorded was lacking some color or you just wanna add a certain type of theme to it, like a rainy day or make everything seem like it was recorded in a broad daylight or something, you can definitely do all of that from this filters tab right here. And of course, the elements. Now this is where the fun begins. This is probably where you're gonna spend the most amount of time. Now I'm only gonna show you guys a handful of these elements, but as you scroll through this tab, you're gonna notice that it's full of various emojis and icons that you'll find extremely useful and fun to use in your videos. Like this one for example. We're gonna add it towards the end and adjust the size of it to make it a bit more visible. Let's add a few more elements like this and then move on to something else, because otherwise we're gonna be here all day. And last but not least, the motion. In this tab, you'll mostly find ways to zoom in and zoom out on different parts of the video. We're gonna add some of these effects towards the end just to showcase what it would look like. And then I'm gonna go back and add a few more elements as well, because I wanna show you guys just how much cool stuff there is for you to use on your content. Alright, so I think that's about as many effects as I wanna add to this video. Now let's click the export button right here and see all the rendering options that are available to us. By the way, let me show you what kind of PC I'm using for this. 4th Gen i7 with 16 gigs of RAM and a GTX 1050 Ti. I wanted to show you guys this part because there are many talented content creators out there that simply don't have powerful PCs, and because of how demanding some applications are these days, they really can't edit their videos. MiniTool MovieMaker on the other hand is pretty light on the system, and I hope this video can prove it, because even though this PC is more than a decade old, I've had no issues with editing at any point at all. By the way, here are a bunch of formats that you can export your video in. You can either pick your desired resolution and the FPS from here, or you can go to the settings instead and check all of the options from there. I'm gonna export my video in MP4 format, Full HD resolution at 60 FPS and 10,000 bitrate. Let's specify the name and the location as well. And now, time for conclusion. Since we are using the free version of the software, let's talk about the benefits and the limitations of it. Once we export our first 3 videos with the free version, we're gonna be limited to 2-minute long videos thereafter. Now, you can obviously remove these limits by getting the full paid version instead, but if short-form content is all that you wanna make, these limitations shouldn't make too much of a difference to you. Besides, most short-form content creators make around a minute-long videos anyway, so if that's something that you wanna do for free, MiniTool MovieMaker should be a really useful software to you. And in case you wanna get the paid version instead, here's all the reasons why I think you should get the software over the others. I found MiniTool MovieMaker to be extremely easy to use and simple to understand. It's something that I would really recommend to the users that are just starting out, because a lot of the times the difficulty to understand the editing software itself might become a barrier to a new user, and as a result, they might end up quitting before they even begin, which shouldn't be an issue with this software, because the amount of convenience and simplicity that it has to offer is just really hard to beat. But either way, now that our video has finished rendering, let's take a look at it and see what exactly we made. Now obviously, we just scraped the surface with what I just showed right here, but feel free to check out the software yourself. All the links will be in the description below. Big shout out to MiniTool for reaching out, and as always, I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.